So here's what's going on with the pod. As you can see, we've renamed it 8 the Pod. 8 being destroy and rebuild, or the build, destroy degree. Everything's getting deleted, erased, restarted. We're coming from scratch. You see, we took off, stripped everything down. We're at the bare necessities.
We're going Spartan.
No fancy graphics. No nothing. And so for the next couple weeks, we will be working on Pay, the album, which I don't think is going to be obviously it's not going to be the end-all title, but...
No, we got to keep it under wraps, though.
And so we're going to stream
Especially
it.
until we figure out what it is.
And if you want to watch while we're streaming it, you can. If not, it's probably going to disappear once we're done streaming it. But,
right.
All right, so... Do you know what I thought about Apathy as I was listening through? Because I listened through to everything a couple times walking on the treadmill.
Okay. That's a good time to do it.
Apathy
Yeah.
is the perfect song to be titled Loud Porn.
Okay, because it's got that 70s funk feel behind it.
It's got a real... Now, I don't know what Loud Porn the track looks like yet.
Right.
That's not one of the ones that I've mapped out any parts of the track.
Okay.
I don't know how necessary it is to the overall project.
Well, like I said, I'm not opposed to keeping it in there. Just if we find an alternative, I would like to use it. But now I know going forward that that's what I have to replace that funk vibe.
Well, no, because something else could come up. Like I said, it doesn't have a solid place. Everything is very loose right now.
Okay.
My notes and my what do you call that thing that you used to use, like when you were writing a story in school? The outline.
Yeah.
My outline is very loose.
Okay.
It's not even outlined in any order yet. That's something that we kind of have to go through and figure out together.
Okay.
So, Loud Porn. I talked to Balk.
Okay.
Let's just start with the notes, right?
Yeah.
I talked to Balk for intros.
Okay.
Intros from Balk. I'm going to talk to Sarabino, and I know I could get an intro from Screw.
Okay.
Now,
What about AB?
huh?
What about AB?
Yeah, well, I'm thinking the rappers.
Okay. I didn't realize Valk was a rapper. I'm sorry.
We can use AB.
Okay.
We can fit him in somewhere. I think the more voices that we fit in, but I think
Right.
after the intros, the pieces that we're going to need to fit in are going to take, they're going to be a little bit more in depth than just like a quick clip.
Right. We're gonna have to script some stuff.
Yeah.
Okay. So you see this as a theater of the mind, as they used to call it on radio.
Yeah. Now, it's hard to say. Like I don't particularly think that it's a fully like scripted out story where I'm, like where I pull up a story where it's like on the 5th of July is
Right.
the rain beat on the, you know what I mean? But somewhere between a story and a verse,
Okay.
i.e. Big Body Best.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
talking over the beat, real tough.
Right.
And I don't see all of those. Not every track is going to be that.
Well, no. Some of it's just like kind of bridging.
Some of it's bridging.
Yeah.
Like I said when I asked you, can you do a full
Full Foley. Yeah.
a full soundtrack with just like a full story with just sound effects?
Mm-hmm.
That could be part. I also think that one of the other things that we're going to need to do, should we want success for this,
Okay.
is we're going to have to shorten most everything.
So I don't know how it plays out, and unfortunately I didn't quite have enough time to do it the way I wanted to this week, but it'll be ready for next week. I came with so when I write my music in my computer, I write it on the other computer at home, but when I write the music, basically I have my tracks laid out. This is the piano, this is the organ, this is the drums, whatever it is. And then I fly them out as the loops. And then I bring that into another thing, and that's where I do the editing and the mixing and the mastering.
Okay.
I brought all of the individual pieces for each song, because I 100% knew that we were going to change, first of all, shorten them. Second of all, maybe change the way it comes in.
Yeah.
Do the piano first, hit the drums first, do this with it, whatever it might be.
Right.
So I came prepared to completely change the track out of every single song.
Yeah. So, and because what I think is, I mean, look, we're in 2023 now.
We are the future.
Nobody wants to listen to a song that's 3 minutes long.
No.
Much less a pod rap song or a sound effect track.
Just the intro.
Right. So I think things are going to need to be shortened down.
Agreed.
And then that comes to my mind is, do we release this as, who's this? I got to talk to him. Do we release this as an album with individual tracks, or do we put it out almost in podcast fashion, where this is we would put it out like a scripted podcast,
like weekly installments?
No, but leave room to do it again. Weekly installments would take a whole lot to do this, to put this whole project together.
Yeah.
And then put that out. I see it as the whole thing goes together.
Yeah.
So breaking it down into tracks almost does a injustice to the album.
Well, that was what I was going to say. Now I don't think I'm following along with you, but I think that what you're asking can't be determined until we're finished, because depending on how it all lays out and tracks out, right? So like you were saying, there's going to be some songs that are instrumental to telling the story, and then there's going to be songs that kind of bridge.
Right.
So in those songs, really not much is going on. So that's a song you take and release as its own thing. Like, hey, here's one of the songs on the album if you want to check it out, whatever it might be. You don't really want to put one that's got sound effects and all that other stuff as just a singular release, because it's out of context.
Yeah. And that's kind of what I'm saying. To me, this is the equivalent. I see it maybe being the equivalent of a scripted storytelling podcast, but
right,
in more of a musical, format. They
call it a wait a minute, I've done some of them. A concept album.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a concept album, kind of.
Where everything has a reason to be before and after the thing that it's before and after.
Yeah.
And when you get to the end, it was all congruent. Even sometimes it's overt, sometimes it's obvious. Okay, this is when Biggie was born, and then this is when Biggie was 12, and then this is when Biggie was 30. And sometimes it's more subtle, like when Radiohead does it, and you have to play the whole thing in a certain way to realize that it was all this one big arcing piece of music that they created.
Right.
So yeah, I'm with you.
Okay. So let's play through.
Okay.
Do you have them organized the same way that
my organization is going to be alphabetical?
That's how I listed them.
Okay. Then yes.
Let me just text this guy real quick and find out about the big job.
Yeah, while you're doing that, this was possibly in lieu of apathy, but now I doubt it because what you're looking for. But here's what I wrote today.
Payday. Get to it. Payday is here and the check is in the mail.
I'm not mad at this.
Give it a second. Obviously,
there's 17 minutes of intro. Is this old or no?
It's today. It's fresh off the press.
Hot off the presses.
Yep.
It could be useful. I feel like this. So this kind of runs adjacent with like Cinder and maybe Flippant or Inclement.
Okay.
Like this runs adjacent with some of the shit on here, so it may not be a far off choice. How many other ones do you have for the replacement of Apathy?
Today, I only have one other one to play you that's new, and that's just because you asked for it. And like I said, I'm not forcing the